Hey everybody, it's Tony with Big T Bariatric, and I'm back at you with another video. Today is Thursday, January 6th. I hope you're having a great one so far. What I want to do today is react to another clip from My Thoughts Will Probably Offend You. The host of this show is Michelle, and she does a great job talking about fat acceptance, the body positivity movement, and other things like that. So we're going to dig right into this clip. And what she's talking about today is fat activists who are dying, and that the health at every size movement is proven wrong again. And so we're going to take a look at this and see what she has to say.
The fat acceptance movement, also known as fat pride, fat empowerment, and fat activism, is a social movement which seeks to eliminate the social stigma of fatness from social attitudes by pointing out the social obstacles which are faced by fat people to the general public. While many people in this group have determined and spread through social media that obesity is not as bad as we have always thought, or that science has proven, many have embraced the word fat and deemed the word obese to now be a slur. Many won't even say the word in their homes.
Said to me, well, have you eaten? And I said, yeah, I had some pizza earlier. And they said, you need to eat something like a bit more healthy. Now, there are a few words that I don't allow when somebody comes into my house, and healthy is one of them.
Yeah, that's absolutely ridiculous. I can understand if you're a little bit hurt by someone coming into your house and saying, maybe you should eat something a little healthier. Nobody has a right to tell you that in your own house. But at the same time, this whole movement to change the word obese and turn that into a slur so that you can call yourself fat, but somehow fat is not offensive, but obese is. I don't understand that. That sounds stupid to me. But yeah, it's all about changing the culture because you're uncomfortable in the culture, right? The culture looks down on you. You shouldn't be disrespected because you're bigger. You still deserve love. You're still a human being. But at the same time, there should be that pressure on people who are living unhealthy lifestyles. The same way we would treat a drug addict with love and respect. But at the same time, if you have a drug addict in your family, if you have an alcoholic in your family, you're going to get them together and you're going to try to get your family to encourage this person to change and be a healthier person. You want them to live a long, healthy life. And that's not going to happen if you're a drug addict, if you're an alcoholic, if you are addicted to food and you're becoming obese. It's like, it's not about disrespecting you, even though there's a lot of people who make fun of others out there who are overweight. The world does not understand someone who's big. They don't understand that it's a disease. They don't understand that there's an addiction behind it. They don't understand that there's trauma behind it. So we need to offer more love and support in that way. But the whole fat acceptance movement is going about it the wrong way by changing the culture rather than changing yourself. And that's where it's ridiculous and falling off the rails.
In fact, the NAAFA, the National Association to Advance Fat Acceptance,
that actually exists.
which was started by a white man who actually had a fetish for oversized women and started the group to bring acceptance to him and his people, in hopes less people would make fun of him for his choice of women. Well, in 2022, it's ran by women, fat women. Let me just read a little bit of their philosophy. The NAAFA have contested society's stubborn generalization that associates fatness with disease and poor health outcomes, and push back against the assumption that fat people have little regard for themselves or their own well-being.
You can push against that all you want to. It's still true. Okay, there's still a major, huge connection between obesity and disease. Like, it's there. You can't get rid of it. Like, the bigger you are, the worse off you're going to be, the worse your health is going to be. No matter what you try to do, no matter what words you try to outlaw, no matter how much you fight against it, it's always going to be true. Like, you cannot change the reality to fit your own distorted perception.
They argue that thinking about obesity as a disease or medical risk, such as having severe effects from COVID-19, contributes to the stigma because it positions larger bodies as drains on an already taxed healthcare system.
It is a drain on the healthcare system. I know because I'm a part of that. Like when I had my weight loss surgery, taxpayers paid for that. I'm on Medicaid because I am partially disabled, even though I do some work and I do write some articles. Like financially, I've been struggling because I've been overweight. And so I've been on Medicaid. I use food stamps. Like I am a drain on society. And anytime that if I get sicker and sicker, any medications I might need, if I needed long-term blood pressure medicine, or if I developed diabetes and I needed insulin, thankfully I don't have those issues right now. But yeah, it is a drain on society because if you're big, you cannot work, you're on welfare, you need food stamps to survive, and it's just a very difficult thing to deal with. So yeah, it is a drain on society being bigger. You have a harder time finding work. You're going to need a caretaker at some point. Like a lot of the people on My 600-Pound Life, they eventually need a home care nurse. It's a drain on your family because your family has to take care of you. And like my mom had to move in with me when I was at my heaviest to help me get to this point where I'm at now, where I'm now becoming more self-reliant. I'm able to cook for myself. I'm able to clean and take out the trash and do things that I couldn't do before. So yeah, being big is a drain. It's a drain on society. It's a drain on your family. It's a drain on the taxpayers. And the more people who become obese, the worse it gets. So again, they're pushing against something that's, they're in the wrong, pushing against something that's true. They're trying to push away the truth just so they can feel better about themselves.
To sum that up, they don't like that the numbers show, factual numbers by the way, show that being obese causes taxpayers more money. They also do not like that fatness, or obesity, is connected to disease and poor health, because it makes them feel bad.
Yeah, it's all about feelings over facts. It's stupid.
Shall read on. The NAAFA mobilizes the term, in quotes, fat, in its fight against weight discrimination and fat phobia in all aspects of life, including in employment, healthcare, and education. Similarly, as social scientists, we use the term fat rather than the deeply problematic medical term obesity, which causes harm to people under the guise of benign objectivity.
I understand how the obesity term and even BMI can be frustrating to people because it's like you only have to be a little bit overweight to be classified as obese, and the bigger you get, the higher class you become of obese. So I think it's obese, and then it's morbidly obese and severely obese, and there's different classes to it now. I think they added class 1, class 2, class 3. I forgot what they all are, but the higher your BMI is, the more obese you're classified. So the fact that they're trying to change a medical term for being overweight, fat, and obese, I don't get it. I'm flabbergasted at this point.
These groups, and what I have shown you on this channel many times of the fat activists on TikTok saying the word obese causes harm, but interestingly enough, they never talk about the harm that obesity causes. I mean, how could they? Many of them do not even believe in science when it proves obesity comes with risks. Burgess Hovar, who I'm making a video of later, has said if science does not satisfy over 60% of the population who are obese, then we should just boot it out the window. This was
Yeah, it's all about making them feel better. They're completely in denial about their lifestyle being a drain.
In her interview with Ulta Beauty, titled The Beauty of Fatness. We now have doctors that are telling us that obesity is just a myth and has absolutely no health risks. We have doctors who write books titled Health at every size, where they say obesity can be completely healthy. Bloggers saying there is no such thing as healthy food, everything's created equal, and we should never let these white males stop us from living our lives with their racial BMI chart.
Racial BMI chart? Is there some sort of connection between race and fat acceptance? It seems like a lot of these social issues that they are calling racist or having racial connotations to them is being charged by fat women or overweight women or white people. It's like it's white people who are saying this is racist and that's racist, or it's fat white women saying there's a racial connotation between obesity and fat acceptance and all that stuff. It's absolutely stupid. There's no racial connotation to it. Like, we're talking about health concerns and obesity, and the reality between those connections has nothing to do with race. Yeah, I don't know what to say.
Do you know what is starting to bring some of these fat activists?
Oh yeah, I was talking about before. You're trying to change a social norm or social culture to fit your delusion. Well, one way of getting rid of things, which we've seen lately, is a lot of these woke people are trying to call things racist because if you can classify it as racist, then that takes it out of the whole lexicon. Like it's out of the picture. Like, this is racist, that's racist. I've seen articles that talk about how chocolate milk is racist or pumpkin spice lattes are racist. It's white people, white liberals mostly, who get together and talk about how, let's try to classify things as racist, because when we do that, then we can make it that every other person is going to accept it as racist as well. So, if it somehow stigmatizes anybody, it's racist, it's phobic, or fat phobia, which I made another video on. Let's call something phobic, such you got transphobia and homophobia, and now there's fat phobia, and it's just ridiculous. Like, they keep adding these terms to different things that they want to change the social culture about, because if they label it phobic or if they label it racial, then it's easier to get rid of, and it's part of their delusion.
Down. No, it's not the use of the word obesity, it's heart attacks and heart complications. Yes, and many of these fat activists are staying silent, looking the other way and continuing to perpetuate this disgusting movement started by men that wanted to get their hard, that obesity is perfectly healthy. And honestly, it pisses me off. I will be focusing on 2 women that were part of this movement of we should just accept obesity. 2 women that I feel glorified it, at least one glorified it and changed. And 2 women who are now sadly no longer with us. 2 women that express their opinions in different ways, but I have different opinions on each one. Let's start. If you ever go down the weird lane of fat talk on TikTok, you will find there are many very young fat talkers who are dancing around expressing how obesity has not hindered their life at all, and they can do anything a skinny girl can do.
No, you can't. I'm sorry, that's just not true.
If you're a fat person who is not trying to lose weight, I love you. Keep it up.
And why is that?
Was that a girl? Like, she had the voice of a female, but had a beard. Like, is that where it's getting to these days, where it's like, you don't care at all about how you look? And then again, instead of changing yourself and trying to improve yourself and get healthy, you're just going to let it all go. Like, accept me how I am. I'm beautiful when I'm fat. I'm beautiful if I grow facial hair. I'm beautiful if I don't take care of myself. I don't have to shave my pits. I can be as smelly as I want to. I don't care. I'm just going to be big, bad, and beautiful, and you are the problem. You need to accept me how I am. And if you don't like me, if you're not attracted to me, well, then you're fat phobic. If you won't date me, then you're fat phobic. And it's just absolutely ridiculous. And I know that some women, especially as they get bigger, it's called PCOS. They grow facial hair. They grow hair where they normally wouldn't. And so it's actually a condition connected to obesity. And you can actually reverse it with losing weight. So, it's just another one of those situations where you are perpetuating a problem by trying to change the culture instead of trying to change yourself.
That because the older ones are either hurting and can't get up or dead. Because as you age and stay obese, the issues you will have come on pretty hard and thick. I want to start with the oldest fat activist who sadly left this earth at the age of 42, Kat Pazé.
Told about obesity, we're in the middle of an epidemic, extra body weight causes, heart problems, diabetes. What do you say to that?
I think it does definitely fly in the face of what most of us tend to believe and what our common sense maybe even tells us. But I think that the science isn't actually as clear-cut as we like to believe.
Science isn't as clear-cut as we're made to believe. It's 100% true. I've lived it. I was healthy in my 20s. I was healthy through a lot of my 30s. And then as I got older, pushing 40 years old now, the health issues get worse. We've seen it time and time again. Like, the science cannot be denied at this point. They are delusional.
And there's not really quite a consensus yet about the real relationship between weight and health.
Just because you have a few fat doctors who are who try to understand your delusions and try to give into it because they believe it themselves. Like, you can get anybody to agree with you, whether they're a doctor, whether they're a scientist, but if the vast majority of science and research proves that there's a connection between disease and obesity, then really there's just way too much evidence for that. Just because you have a few doctors who agree with you because they're part of the movement and they care more about feelings than facts does not mean that you're true, does not mean that there's not a consensus about it. Consensus. Sorry. Yeah. This is frustrating me. This is so stupid.
fat studies scholar at Massey University in Palmerston North. Her research and activism attracted controversy and, in these people's opinions, bullying from people who would constantly say, stop spreading the message that obesity is a positive condition, but she wouldn't listen. Steven Crowder, a political commentator mostly known as the Change My Mind guy, where he sets up a booth and asks people to change his mind about controversial topics, actually infiltrated a fat studies conference at Massey University. His experiment was to see if these people are so accepting to everything stupid. He decided to write a paper, say a few trigger words, and hopefully be accepted in this community. So he dressed up in a fat suit, slapped on a wig, and wrote a bogus paper to hopefully be accepted into the fat studies conference, based on a poorly written, full of trigger words.
You see the sign, Trump Pence must go. He's definitely a Trump supporter, but he is trolling them big time. And yeah, just to like throw together as many words as you can, just stupid stuff, trigger words to try to get invited to this conference, and to be seen as an expert on it just because he wrote a paper. It's, again, they're going to look for any validation that they can find, regardless of who it comes from.
Paper, and of course, he had to have the Pikachu Cup and the Trump/Pence must go ornaments in the back to really sell to them and gain their acceptance. And he did. They absolutely loved his video essay.
And I knew that largely because of my fat, I was guaranteed at least a certain amount of space. You may believe, wrongly as many people do, that fat is a threat to your life. But I would argue that in many ways, it may save your life. I used to feel guilty about eating certain foods or drinking certain soft drinks, but I don't anymore. Every scoop of Ben & Jerry's, or whatever your preferred food may be, I would like to see it restructured, and it should be seen as an act of resistance, not only against homophobia, but against fat phobia.
And guess whose fat studies conference this was? That's right, Kat Pazé, the woman who would rather have people feel beautiful than know the realities of obesity. A woman who dedicated her whole career to keep people under the impression that obesity is a good thing. A few weeks later, after Crowder's show aired, Dr. Pazé passed away. They did not release the cause of death, but they said medical condition, which...
Yeah, most likely obesity. Like, once you hit 40, your life expectancy, if you're obese, shrinks dramatically. Like, I know people say, well, if I can just eat how I want to, but I lose maybe a few years off my life, maybe a decade. No, you're losing 20, 30, 40 years off your life. You're not going to make it to 50 and be that huge for that long. Some people do. Some people on my 600-pound life are in their 50s. But you really don't see 60, 70, and 80-year-olds who are obese. It's like, again, you might be lucky enough to make it into your 40s, but I've been told by doctors that I would not make it to 40 if I did not lose weight and get healthy. So it's been a decade-long battle since I was 30, being told that I would make it to 40, and I made it to 38 when I realized, oh crap, it's about to hit the fan. I need to get my weight under control or else I'm going to die in the next few years. And there's many people in my life, my best friend Steve even, who thought that I would not make it the next few years if I continued on how I was. And so you're going to have to get to that point on your own, I guess, because if you're going to buy into this delusion that fat is healthy, that fat does not create any kind of illness or sickness or disease in your body, if you're going to like disbelieve the actual science that proves that, then you're just going to have to get to a point where you realize that lifestyle yourself. You're going to get bedridden. You're going to have all kinds of health issues. And the only way to reverse those health issues is to lose weight.
Many are theorizing that it was an obese-related issue, but they don't want the exact cause getting out because of the work that she did, and many people on the internet can be ruthless. And if it was someone else who was just minding their own business and being fat who passed away...
Look at that title, COVID-19, Unjust and Unethical Fatness Being Called a Risk Factor for Coronavirus. Like, obesity does increase your risk of dying if you got coronavirus. I had it twice, and I was scared to death because being a bigger person, and it was scary, but I got through both of those problems, or both of those infections. I didn't end up in the hospital, and luckily my body fought it off on its own. But yeah, just knowing that being overweight adds to the complications of coronavirus and other diseases. If you get what's it called? If you get an ammonia in your lungs, or a lung infection or stuff like that, like, you already struggle to breathe. You have a lot of weight pressing down on your lungs. I have a CPAP because of that. I could stop breathing without a CPAP at night, and so your breathing is obstructed as a big person. And so just a little bit of an infection, an pneumonia, coronavirus, things like that, it can kill you. You're more likely to die with a simple infection than someone who's a normal weight. So there's all kinds of health correlations between disease and death and being obese.
I would understand that. And you might be thinking that this is a very insensitive video, but I can't feel sorry for someone who promoted obesity but then dies at a pretty young age from it.
One thing that's really in vogue in the literature right now is we see a lot of articles about what they call the obesity paradox. And this is research that's finding that obese people, and even morbidly obese people, have just as good of health, or sometimes even better health, than people who are in the healthy weight ranges.
I do feel sorry for.
It's possible, right? You can be big and be healthy for a short time. You can be skinny and normal size and have health complications. Like, health complications do not discriminate between the big and the little. But at the same time, it's like, you can't ignore the science that says, the longer you are big, the more increase in those diseases and illnesses. Again, I went through most of my 20s and 30s. I didn't have a single heart problem. I didn't have any high blood pressure. I didn't have any cholesterol problems. Every blood test I did came out perfect. Like, I was healthy for almost 20 years until the last 2 years, which really inspired me to get my weight under control, because it was like, it is very easy to delude yourself into thinking, okay, I'm healthy, there's no problem being big, I can continue eating this way. And then when it starts to affect your health, it's like, oh, I have a very short amount of time to get this weight off, or else something bad's going to happen to me.
For the people who loved her because she seemed to be loved by many. It's too bad that she decided to be so stubborn when it comes to obesity and protecting her feelings that she died from the condition that she said was so beautiful and harmless. Allegedly, of course. I also want to remind anyone that is saying, well, she's passed away, we shouldn't talk about her. I disagree. We should. Because this is the end result of thinking you are untouchable. That science is not real because it hurts your feelings, and just because you feel great at 20 and you're 300 pounds doesn't mean it will stay that way. So with that being said, rest in peace, Dr. Pause. The second woman I wanted to talk about that was all things body positive and fat positive is Jamie Lopez. Jamie Lopez weighed around 840 pounds. She was a total glamour chick. Nails, hips, heels, hair, honey. Loved femininity, loved getting her nails done. Well, one day she went into a nail salon and broke the chair. She was humiliated and they told her, sorry, we can't do your nails here. You can't come back when you're this size. She felt horrible about this and started her own nail salon for morbidly obese women who wanted a safe place to get their nails done where they won't break chairs. Her career took off. She even scored a show on Super Size Salon on WeTV.
Are you ready to go? And why do you look like you about to just throw up everywhere?
Because I'm terrified, Shannon. I haven't left the house in 2 years. And I just learned to walk again.
I actually talked about Jamie and her salon a long time ago on this channel, and Jamie only saw the thumbnail and was absolutely pissed at me. It was a whole thing. I haven't told you guys this, but she recently apologized to me over.
So she said she hasn't left the house in 2 years. When she did walk into a salon, she broke the chair. And you don't think there's any social abnormality with that? Like, come on, it's a problem. Being big is a problem in society. You're breaking chairs, you're breaking furniture. There's places I've gone, people's houses I've gone to, where they asked me not to sit on a chair, not to sit on the couch, because I could break it. And, I have to respect that. Now that I'm losing all this weight, it's not as much of a problem, but I'm still big. I'm still, going to deal with that. I've talked about how I was asked to buy a second airplane ticket when I flew out to Oregon. Like, there is a real cost to being big, and that cost is costing everybody else. It's not costing you, because it's not a problem to you, but it's a problem to everybody else who needs to buy a new chair, who can't serve you because of your size. I don't know. It's a strong delusion. There's a strong delusion on these people.
Instagram and told me about her show as well. And just yesterday, I added her new show to shows I wanted to watch and talk about with you on my channel. So when I logged onto Instagram to see Jamie Lopez dead at 37, it crushed me. This one is so different for me than the cat pause and really left me heartbroken over a woman I really didn't even know, but fell for, honestly. Though me and Jamie had that internet battle, I personally think she was a very nice person. I know that she was probably a bit insecure, and can you blame her? She obviously gets constantly bullied over the internet, but Jamie really turned her life around. She lost over 400 pounds, which was what my video was gonna be on.
But don't think that I've just been sitting around doing nothing, okay? Because that's definitely not the case. I've had some critical events happen in my life, you guys, that made me want to embark on this journey.
Yeah, that's exactly what I've been talking about. You can get to a certain size, you could feel healthy, you could try to force society to accept you as you are, but you're going to get to that point where you have critical events in your life that's going to force you to change. And even when you do change, there's no guarantee that you didn't do any real lasting damage to your body. I'm still afraid. Even though I've lost 137 pounds, I'm still afraid that my heart can give out tomorrow. And I pray to God every single day that I can continue to fight this journey and get to a healthy weight so that I don't have to worry about that. But even when I lose all this weight, I could still have a health issue. So again, it's not about, thinking skinny means healthy and fat means sick. It's just fat contributes to it at a greater rate. Like, she had heart complications because she was over 800 pounds. And even though she lost 400 pounds, she still died of heart complications. So it's all that strain on your body accumulates over time, and eventually it's going to give out.
And in less than a year, I completely turned my life around. And I'm really proud of myself.
She lost almost a whole Tammy Sladen, and I was extremely proud of her when I saw that.
Lost a whole Tammy Sladen. Michelle is hilarious. I love her videos. She's a great person. And I'm definitely going to react to more of her videos as long as she's okay with that. I don't know if she'll ever see this or not, but I really appreciate her humor and the way that she discusses these issues.
And had a huge amount of respect for her to just message me and apologize. She put in so much hard work, and I was so happy to see that she was getting a handle on this horrible condition called obesity, morbid obesity for her. I would have never guessed that she would be the one that passed away, and Tammy Sladen is still going strong. I am in literal shock about this, but I really shouldn't be. She was morbidly obese for years. She couldn't even stand for the opening of her salon, and it really just angers me that there's people out here manipulating minds of people who have an obvious food addiction to not worry about being obese.
Yeah, I've had several comments from people when I did several of the Tammy videos, like, Tammy's still alive? How is she still alive? Like, it's hard to believe. And again, it's your body can only take so much, and when you hit that line, that's it.
Obese and how beautiful it is. Telling people that obesity doesn't have any detrimental effects and there's such thing as health at every size. But the word obese does. Go on, everyone, keep eating. I was just thinking to myself also that maybe, just maybe, if Jamie and others weren't getting positive reinforcement for their horrible behaviors toward food, she could have lost weight maybe sooner. Not to mention the men that help feed this mentality that obesity is beautiful and the bigger the better. That's right, she used to hang out with Tammy Sladen's ex-boyfriend, the King, whose slogan is the bigger the better. I'm not making
the BBW King, man. That guy's probably killed more women than trying to keep them fat. I'm glad Tammy broke up with him, but why would you date somebody who is going to keep you fat because they like fat women? Like, that's just stupid. That's not love. That's not true relationship there. That's someone who has a fetish and only cares about their own sexual desire than they do about your own health. That's not love.
Making excuses for her. Everyone has a choice to step away. But the movement of love yourself the way you are, obesity is nothing to be scared of, and men who glorify it for their own benefit definitely doesn't help someone who's addicted to food and overeating or binging. It just saddens me that she actually was doing the work and did so much work, but it wasn't enough. Sources close to Lopez tell us she'd been hospitalized in Las Vegas and then died over the weekend as a result of heart complications. I really do mean rest in peace, Jamie, and I feel for her family. She really seemed like a good person, and I'm so upset that I didn't make that video showing her hard work when she was still alive. I truly hope that more people
Well, Michelle, if you are watching this, which I doubt you are, go ahead and make that video. Like, it's good to promote that someone was trying to take care of themselves, that they were losing weight. That's the whole purpose behind this channel. You get a few negative comments here and there about, hey, you're a fat guy, you need to lose some weight instead of worrying about what other people are doing. But I'm trying to highlight the dangers of obesity and the work it's going to take to overcome it. And we need to have more of those positive stories out there rather than glorifying the Tammy Slaytons. Even though I get a lot of views from her videos, it's like we need to get the positivity out there more than the train wrecks. People like watching the train wreck, but it might not be good for views. But hey, there's a lot of people out there like me, like people who are watching my channel, who say that I'm inspiring them, that I've helped them decide to make better options and better decisions because they see my progress. So seeing this person's progress is going to be helpful and beneficial.
In this community, see that obesity is nothing to be happy about. It is not an empowering thing to eat yourself to death. So please take care of your health, and I will see all of you guys next time.
Yeah, that's the clip. Really good video from Michelle, and yeah, the whole body positivity movement thing is ridiculous, and I really hope that it comes to an end here. More people are going to die from obesity related diseases, and I think obesity is one of the leading causes of death because it contributes to heart disease and stuff like that. So more people are going to die, more people are going to get overweight. Children are becoming overweight because these fat adults are raising kids to believe that same nonsense, and so they don't care for their own health. And so the younger you are and you gain a lot of weight, you're going to have even more health issues than somebody who started gaining weight in their 20s or whatever. Yeah, like we're seeing more and more younger people who are dying of obesity related issues in their 20s and 30s. So it's no guarantee that you're even going to make it to your 30s or 40s. There's 20-year-olds having heart attacks. There's 20-year-olds getting diabetes and losing limbs, and it's just sad to see. So anyways, that's my video for today. I hope you got something out of it. If you could do me a favor, leave me a comment, leave me a like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'd greatly appreciate it. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, and you can help me do that. Every comment and like on my videos helps more people see them. And yeah, that's it. I hope you have a great day, and God bless you.